Hello, everyone. How are you doing? And welcome to another episode of the Dr. Will Show, where we have the discussions that inform, entertain, and empower educators to be the change. I am your host, Dr. Will. And today, people, you don't know. This is going to be one of those shows you're going to sit back, get your popcorn, a little snack ready for you. Uh, we're going to be talking about the business of you owning your career. And our special guest today is Lakrisha Davis. Now, I like myself, maybe others who are be watching and listening, you know, you've been under this fallacy of you're going to work, getting this job, you're going to work 30 years, get that watch, that retirement party, and then, you're out vacationing somewhere. But we no longer live in that type of economy.
Mhm.
And I used to intern for JT O'Donnell. And she used to say, you are a business of one. And even though I would hear her say that, I didn't quite like it because I didn't like the fact that, someone could just wake up tomorrow and fire me. But
Mhm.
the reality is that can happen. And you yourself can outgrow your job and want to move on. So that is why I have brought in Lakrisha to really school us and educate us on how to take more control over our careers. So Lakrisha, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks so much for having me. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Thank you for coming. I took a personal day today, so we can definitely make this thing happen.
All
So
right. So I better
awesome. So
deliver.
uh, you got this.
Yep.
Uh, so for those who are watching the show, will you please introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Lakrisha Davis. I am a career coach, success mentor, and speaker. I am based out of Chicago, but I help people all over the world to navigate the corporate landscape in order to create the life and career that they've always dreamed of, whether that is uh, climbing corporate America or starting a business. I believe that everyone has their own personal definition of success. So, not everyone aspires to be a billionaire entrepreneur or to climb the top of the corporate ladder. So, I'm here to help people tap into their vision, their why, and figure out what that career path is for them that will support the lifestyle that they ultimately want.
Excellent, excellent. So for my audience, we just have a clear sort of path to our careers. You go to college, you get your
Mm-hmm.
degree, and you apply for a school system. But that's not quite the same for everyone. And looking at where you are now, how did you get to this point? Like, where does your passion for career coaching come from? What fuels you to do the work that you do?
Yeah, so it's very interesting because I started out in the very beginning of my career on a much different path. I was supposed to be a lawyer, and I decided that that wasn't the career that I wanted for myself. It was more so what everybody saw me as and, pushed in front of me, family members, peers, mainly family saying, this is what you should do. This is what I see for you. And so that was kind of the path that I had been pursuing for some time because it was something that I was really good at. I'm very good at writing, legal research, analytical thinking, all of those necessary skills to be a successful attorney. And so I ended up pulling back from law school and I decided to pursue my master's degree in HR. And so I won't get all into the detail to mainly just because I don't want to bore you, but just for time's sake, I this journey as a career coach sort of fell into my lap because I have been in the same situation that many job seekers are in now, right? I went to college, I finished top of the class. I, was so excited to finish the program because I was so sure that my future was promising. But then when I got out of school, only making $40,000, $45,000 a year at the most, that is when I was like, okay, my student loans are double that. So, what is this whole education investment about? And so, I really, I started working in, well, I was working in a job that I hated, And again, I was overworked and underpaid. And for a while, I settled there because I thought this is all that I could get. You know, this is the situation that everybody else is dealing with, student loan debt, not living the lifestyle that they want right after college like they thought it would be, not having that career that fuels their passion. And so I started to settle because I thought, okay, this is just what life is all about. But then once I started to believe in myself and I did the unbelievable, which was leave that job without even having another one, it was just a step that I had to take because it was so bad to the point where I was burned out after work that all I wanted to do was go home and eat, shower, go to bed, and stress about, you know, the fact that I had to go and do this thing all over again in the morning. And so I just wanted that, I wanted to feel that purpose again. And so again, I left the job and didn't really have that safety net, but I knew that I had something in me that will allow me to go after and get what I want. And so within 4 weeks, I was able to increase my salary significantly and to get a high level position as a director of legal compliance at a company here in Chicago. And so I say all that to say that there was a lot of things that I had to learn. And the number one thing I had to learn was getting over myself, getting over that doubt, because that's the first step, right? I firmly believe that when you plant that seed that, you know, you can't have the life that you want, you can't have the career, you're really going to believe it. And then your efforts are going to be in line with that. But when you truly know that there's something better out there for you and you just keep working and climbing and, you know, working towards that and, you know, not really wallowing in your sorrows and mistakes and things like that, but actually learning from them at a high strategic level. So, and that's kind of what I did. And that's, I fell into this because I was always giving people advice on careers. And I had no idea back then why people, you know, had asked me for such, you know, career advice. But, you know, I was making a difference in the lives of people who was going through the same very thing that I was going through. And so I started career coaching some years ago in 2013. I decided to turn it into a business when I was just helping out a woman who wasn't even an official client. I was just helping her out because I wanted to help. And so this woman, she had 3 master's degrees, and I couldn't believe for the life of me that she was working at TJ Maxx. And so very well educated. And so I thought, okay, wow, my situation was bad, but this is really bad, you know, and no shade against retail or anything like that. But obviously, if you're continuing to pursue different master's degrees, then you want something different for yourself. But she struggled getting it. And so when I was able to help her get from making $41,000 a year to now making 87 at that time, that's when I realized, okay, I have a gift. I have a way of getting people to understand and synthesize this information and feel empowered and want better for themselves.
Oh, you got more than a gift to go from the double salary like this, like.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
That's all right. Hey, sprinkle some of that over here. All right.
Sprinkle.
Yes. So I have to ask you this because
Yep.
I talk to educators, you know, all the time, and these are the people who are my, you know, circle of influence, and there are a lot of them who they're just not satisfied, quite honestly, and they want to move on, but then you have this thing of, okay, I've been doing this thing 5 to 10 years. I have degrees here, and I don't, like, something's not right, like in your situation, but you went ahead and said, look, I have to do something about this.
Yeah.
How did you find the courage, the
Mm-hmm.
moxie, whatever you want to call it, for you to say, I'm out, without knowing I got job insurance waiting on me?
Yeah. And so I obviously wouldn't recommend that to everybody because we all have different sets of responsibilities. Fortunately for me, I didn't have any children or anything like that. And so it was just me. And so I was able to take that leap. But for other people that are not in that position where they could just, get up and quit a job, you have to develop an exit strategy. And this is what I deal with some clients that are in that exact situation. They can't just get up and quit a job. They have medical insurance that are or medical bills. They have credit card debt, all those different things, children to raise. And so to that I say, you can't allow that to be an excuse that you ride on to keep you unhappy, because at the end of the day, we all have a choice. And so it's all about making that decision that you deserve better and working towards that. Now, I'm not saying that this is something that's going to get better in a month or two or even 4 weeks like I did, but it gives you a little bit more comfort in knowing that the situation is only temporary. And so if you can't just get up and leave a job and take that leap, have an exit strategy. I mean, I know some people that are still at that employer that I hated so bad, who hated it with me, but are still there because they're like, oh, I don't want to take a pay cut. And I'm thinking, wow, you're thinking about taking a pay cut for XYZ dollars when I've doubled in half that now. So, you just don't know what's out there until you start seeking it. You know what I mean? And so I don't believe in any organization or anybody keeping me stuck anywhere because I'm in control of my life. I'm in control of my future. And so there's no reason why. And maybe this is a little bit over ambitious or maybe I'm overgeneralizing, but this is what I believe wholeheartedly, that there is no reason that you should feel that any person or entity is keeping you stuck anywhere because you have a choice. And so I'm not saying that make your choice be a quick solution, but work towards something that's going to get you closer to how you want to live your life. Because if you stay in that same flow of or the routine of going to the job that you hate and it pays the bills and or whatever, but think about how that affects your personal relationships. Think about how that makes you have anxiety or over the edge. I mean, you have so much potential to be such a greater person for yourself and the universe as a whole, right? Because that's what it's all about. I mean, I just feel like if everybody had happiness, then the world would be a much better place. But that's just a little bit far fetched, and I'm, probably um, a dream deferred. But it's one of those things where you have to put your happiness first. Because in my situation, I was ill. I was ill, and so, and I'm not saying that. I mean, ill to the point where I was going crazy or anything like that, but it limited my potential. I mean, I ended up leaving that job, getting a much better job that I loved, and ended up transitioning fully out of working for someone. And now I have my own income earning business. And so I don't think that I ever would have gotten to this level of confidence if I wouldn't have if I would not have stepped away from that job, because leaving that job that was limiting my creativity, keeping me in a mind state that I don't feel that confidence, I don't feel that worth, I don't feel like I'm contributing to the world. I don't feel like I'm making a difference at all. Um, Had I stayed there, I don't think that I would have been able to get in a position where I am empowering others. And so I loved, the job that I ended up getting into. I loved it. But that, I always say legal compliance is what I'm really good at. But career coaching and empowering people, transforming lives, that is who I am. And that's always been who I am. So
Wow. Boy, this is like Super Soul Sunday.
oh my God, I talk so much. Please cut me off at some
No,
points because I know I am that person that, look, I will preach. So
no,
if I get to talking too much, just let me know.
this is awesome. This is awesome. I'm seriously loving this.
Yeah.
So as a career coach, you work with people and assisting them in, just getting out of their own way and finding the life and career that they want.
Yep.
Please describe your process with clients. How does
Yes.
one
Yes.
go through the work of planning what they want out of their life?
Yes. Yes. So I have an extensive 3-month coaching mentorship. And so coaching mentorship, career catalyst mentorship. And so we focus on 5 different areas. So number one, we focus on vision. And that is really tapping into who you are and what your why is so that we can build a life and a career around that. Okay. And so, first of all, what I find is that it's not just about the career. Typically, people are looking to take this step to advance their careers, to travel more, to have more of a work life balance, to start making more money for whatever reason. So it's really figuring out what it is that you want to do. Like, for example, I have a client who, when I first started working with her, I asked her a question about what is it that you want outside of the job? And so she didn't quite know the answer to that. And then so a few weeks later, she said, Lakrisha, I really thought about what you had asked me and I didn't really understand. But she's like, you know what? I've always had the passion to have a fundraising business. And I just never thought that I would ever be cut out to, put myself out there as a business owner. But I want you to help me find a job where I have a good work life balance and I'm still contributing to the mission, but they also honor an entrepreneurial mindset because I want them to be okay, full disclosure, that I am going to be doing my own thing on the side to make an impact and put an imprint on the world. And I said, great, that's great. So that's what we need to find. We need to find you a job that you're not working 60 hours a week like you are or what have you. So figuring out what that why is, and not just about the title, the job title, but what is it about culture, that you're looking for too? What are some of the things that you absolutely hated, in the past about your jobs? What are some of those things that you absolutely don't want to, continue doing going forward? And what were some of those things that you absolutely loved? And so taking an inventory of that and really getting detailed about, okay, what do I want? Because a lot of people, just have this idea of switching jobs, which is great, which is a step, but it's more than that because you don't want to get into that new position and then have to go through this process all over again. And so it's really about doing the best to make that right decision. And then next we cover mindset of success. And so oftentimes when I meet job seekers, by the time they, get to the point of reaching out to a career coach, they've been beaten up really bad on the market, have, lost confidence. And so we work on confidence building so that we can tap into a level of confidence that you've ever known. But then outside of the mindset of success, I believe that success isn't about, it's not about what you do, it's what value you bring to the world. Okay. So being able to tap into your emotional intelligence so that you are a strong leader, working with difficult people, you know, um, the ability to not take things personally and to collaborate with others. And so that's another thing that we work on. And then we also work on action plan. So that's the process of identifying, applying for, and accepting your dream job. And then we also cover skill sets. So that's interviewing strategy, network strategy, LinkedIn strategy, negotiations, because you'll find, as you know, and I'm sure job seekers out there, you guys know that you're going to have to step outside of the online applications because it's just not the same anymore. It used to be that, we could apply for positions and, a good amount of positions and expect to hear back and get an interview and get the job and, go from there. But it's not that easy anymore. I mean, some positions aren't being posted, and so you're going to have to leverage other things outside of just sending out your resume 100 times. I mean, because it's about quality and not quantity. I remember the days when, I walked in an application, I filled out, used my pen to fill out an application and walked it into the establishment, or walked my resume into an establishment. It's just not like that anymore, so being able to, adapt to the trends, the latest hiring trends, and then integration, making sure that we made the right fit once the person got the job. So that's what my program looks like, and that's what I do for my clients.
Awesome, awesome. So after someone has a plan, how do they work the plan to make sure that they are making progress in achieving their goals?
Okay, so if someone doesn't have a plan, okay, hmm, if you don't have a plan, it's first of all, it's going to require a lot of self-reflection, studying as well. And so really, what I do is, so for my clients that have no idea about what they want to do, we take, personality assessments to see, okay, what are some of those professions that I would most likely fit into. And so looking at those high level and saying, okay, if this is something that I want to do, kind of weeding it out from there, and then really studying those roles to get an idea about, what it actually looks like to work in that job, and really assessing, okay, is this something that's realistic? Are your skill sets even transferable remotely to this position? And so again, as I stated in the beginning, taking that inventory of what is it about your last role that you didn't care about at all, and what were some of those things that you know you did love and you want to continue doing. Also, sometimes we forget to involve other people. Okay, we can't make these decisions entirely on our own. So maybe asking people, okay, what what do you feel that I'm good at? And what value have I brought to your life? And that's something that I did. And people told me, like, you really empower me. I really feel like you have a lot of great things to say. And, you really helped me understand this, that, and the other. And I was like, okay. So working with people, that's my thing.
Awesome, awesome. So, many of my listeners are educators, and,
Mm-hmm.
they've been in the game for a while, and they're pursuing, master's degrees or doctoral degrees and pondering,
Yeah.
what's next for them. So, what is your advice for that mid-level career professional
Mm-hmm.
who's interested in moving forward in their careers?
Yeah, yeah. And this is someone who has a targeted career path that they already know what they want to do, or this someone who doesn't really know. I mean, I assume if you're kind of at the mid level there, the master's level or doctorate level, you kind of have some idea according to your studies, what path you want to take. So it's all about making connections, and it's all about falling in love with the process, knowing that you're going to have to make some mistakes, you're going to make some of the wrong decisions, and just really assessing, those things and learning from them. So the advice I could give is to really get clear right now. Don't wait until you are, you know, well in the program to, start figuring out what you're going to do with your degree. Start making connections now. And so I have people that, for example, have pursued a master's in human resources. That's very broad. What do you want to do in human resources? What's your ultimate goal with that human resource, with your human resource career? Because there's so many different functional purposes in that industry. And so, what do you see yourself adding most value to? Is it strategic partnerships with, you know, with managers? Is it employee relations? Dealing with people? Is it the compliance side of the HR? So really fine tuning it and not just keeping it so broad as to an industry, but really like looking at that industry and figuring out what you want to do, try to get clear on that goal. And another way to do that is I like to connect. I love to network, and I am so about learning from other people as well. And so, reaching out to people that are in that field and, talking to them and see, you know, what were some of their thought processes and, what were some of the barriers that they found in the employment process, or what are some of the, great things about the career and the not so great things to do in the career, trying to get some experience. If there's somebody who is a consultant who's already doing this in consulting, I believe in reaching out to somebody on LinkedIn and saying, hey, I love what you're doing. This is exactly what I want to do. If you ever need my support, please let me know how I could serve you, because I'm looking to learn, and this is what I'm passionate about. And you may find somebody who is willing to, take you under their wing. I mean, I have my assistant now, she wants to develop a full-time business on her own. And so I am kind of, just by her reaching out to me and saying, hey, I want to see how I can help you. I am like, okay, I want to take her under my wing and show her how to build a business, because I want us to all be happy and successful. So, does that answer your question?
Yep. So let's jump into resumes.
Okay.
Now, I've seen your videos, and I've seen blog posts you've written about resumes.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing I find about those, like resumes have changed so much. I see resumes now with all this special typeface and colors and designs,
Mm-hmm.
and different resumes for, okay, you're an educator, are you a consultant, are you at the C-suite level, are you entry level? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they all look so different. How long should a resume be, and what should be included, and how should you make your resume stand out from other applicants?
Yeah, for sure. So it's interesting that you brought up all the nice designs and all those things, because I believe that obviously you want to stay away from a design that makes you look obsolete, right? You don't want some or outdated, format that kind of signals that you haven't done this job searching thing in forever, or you haven't, you don't know how to brand yourself. And so there's a lot of people that do what I do in resume writing. And so I think that a lot of people, they know what they're doing, but a good amount of people also really focus on just the design. And I don't think that a resume is just about a nicely designed, resume. It's about a resume that works. And the only way it'll work is if you are able to be found in those applicant tracking systems. And it also tells a story for your target role. So when you're applying for those online applications, it doesn't, your resume doesn't go to a human. It doesn't go to someone's email. It goes into this large database. And so companies use that to weed out candidates. And so They use certain algorithms to weed out people that are less qualified. And then also some hiring managers go in there and they type in keywords to pull up those profiles of qualified people. So for the biggest takeaway for that is to make sure that you understand what keywords are absolutely necessary for your resume and do a good job repeating those keywords, um, you know, repeating those keywords throughout the resume. So in the detail of your work history, in the professional summary, making sure that you have a strong list of core competencies, not just doing the objective work experience and education. You have to step outside of that. You have to really find a way to optimize it, search engine optimize it, if you will, in the database. So focusing on that, and also, getting a really good idea about how hiring managers think about and describe these roles, so that then you're only producing content that best reflects that you could do that job. So whether it's leadership or cost reductions or whatever the field is, highlighting those key skill sets on the resume based on the job description. And so, how one company would describe an operations manager, another company would describe it differently. So just making sure that you have an understanding about high level, what are those core functions for that role, and making sure that you are producing content in a way that doesn't put you in a box with your same employer, and really speak to the value that you could bring to that job. And so I'm all about tailoring the resume. And, companies don't care about everything you've ever done in your life. They just want to know that you can do their job. So a lot of people, when they're writing the content for their resume, they think about their day-to-day projects they've worked on that were really successful and things like that. But if you're not on key with the target job description, then there are some issues there. So again, just really having a good understanding of that.
Mm-hmm. So I want to throw this out there to you, and it's about social media.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm really into social media. I mean, and that's how, I came into contact with you.
Mm-hmm.
And link, the two sites that I am on are Twitter and LinkedIn.
Okay.
Now, LinkedIn I love because it is a more professional, I don't want to say highbrow, but more professional
Mm-hmm.
site. Though there
Mm-hmm.
have been a lot of people complaining about some of the other things going on there as of late.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But for those individuals who are thinking about getting into social or are on there, but not really investing the time to network with people, get to know people, use the social space for
Mm-hmm.
learning more about their career. Will you please speak to the importance of social in today's market and how how someone can leverage social towards getting that career that they want?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that if you are just relying on online applications and you are prolonging your job search, and I believe in the way I structure my job search strategy plan is to spend 1/3 of your time applying for online applications, but you're going to be doing some professional networking at events and other different things. You're going to be trying to unlock some warm leads or things like that. But you I believe in using LinkedIn wholeheartedly, and a lot of ways that you can use that is to, number one, make sure that your profile is search engine optimized, so that when recruiters are using that recruiter function on LinkedIn, that you have those right keywords on your profile to attract those people. And so the people that are doing the right thing and they are in the midst of a job search, they get a lot of recruiters creeping on their profile. You'll see, when you see who's viewed your profile, you'll see job title recruiter or something like that. So that's a good thing. But outside of search engine optimization, making sure that your profile is up to date, because you know a lot of LinkedIn, a lot of positions that are on LinkedIn, you could apply directly with your profile. And that'll save you some of the time that you have to spend on another application when you have to submit the resume and still fill out the whole application. So, that's another thing. And then follow up. I am huge on follow up. I don't have time to be sitting there waiting for weeks for somebody to let me know about my future. Okay. You got to get a yes or no from every single job submission. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to work out with everybody, but you need to know where you stand, and you have to at least put forth the effort to maximize the opportunity. So not just submitting the application, but being that person who, oh, here's the job poster right here on the application. Sending a note, say, hey, I'm really excited about the project management opportunity. I am Lakrisha. I have 10 years of experience in full project life cycle, blah, 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 blah. I know you may not be at the interview stage yet, but I'm here to answer any preliminary questions you have about my background. Here's where I could be reached. And the reason why I teach my job seekers that is because I lived it, right? I've gotten interviews the same day just by following up on LinkedIn and the person saying, hey, I'm on vacation, but I haven't looked at any, resumes yet, but I can do a phone interview with you. Fine. So following up with the job poster, and then also using the advanced search. There's an advanced people search on LinkedIn. If you have a company that you really want to work for and they aren't hiring right now, find some people that work there that seem nice that you can start a conversation with. Because sometimes it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And really, I like to say it is who you know that will get you the job, and it is what you know that will keep you the job. So networking is huge. And so that's what my 2 cents is.
Okay. So, and you've been on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if you have personally experienced some of the stuff that has been written about and coming out lately. Uh, but and sometimes there's a lack of etiquette or professionalism by
Mm-hmm.
individuals on
Mm-hmm.
those sites.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, can you speak to that in terms of,
Yeah.
how you should actually carry yourself in how you interact with people on these sites?
Yeah. That's a great question. It's interesting because the other day I put up a post that I think was very controversial because it kind of started an argument with two young ladies. They sort of disagreed with me, but I had talked about a situation where, I'm the person I will help anybody. I feel like everybody matters, right? But what separates the people that I do help from the people that I just kind of like, you know, really don't take it serious are the people that come across as if they aren't really serious. So you can't be, I guess I won't say that, but here's the difference. So, first of all, when you see somebody post a job opportunity, it doesn't really speak to your level of interest by writing your email in the comments section, or when seeing a job on a company that you're following, just by commenting I'm interested. Send a personal message. Send something that say, hey, I saw your post, I'm really interested, how can I get you my resume, how can we have a conversation, or something like that. And but for me, as a career coach, I get a lot of people that want resume help and assistance and things like that, which I'm always willing to help with. But if you come to me and just say, hi, Lakrisha, attached is my resume, please let me know what's wrong, thanks. It's like you're not even trying to, I'm about connections. And so I am not going to, I'm not going to take that person as serious as a person who kind of comes through my message and say, hey, Lakrisha, I've been on my job search for about 3 months. My resume isn't getting any traction. I was hoping you could just look at it and let me know a few pointers about what I could be doing wrong. That's somebody who I'm going to say, okay, I really, I'm going to give this person my help. And so, and it's not even just with my business, and I'm not trying to be snooty or anything like that, but it's a life thing that it's something that I've learned throughout life that, when, like, for example, with family friends. Now I have a family friends discount because I realize that people don't value free information as much as they do when they when they pay for it. And so um, that's kind of like a personal thing. But anyway, on LinkedIn, always reach out, send a personal message, always respect other people. You never know what a person got going on, how busy a person is, and they'll try to fit you in, but they'll be less inclined to do it if you're just pushy about it. So mastering the art of, making the connection. And who's to say that you're going to talk to this person every day or what have you, but somebody that I've connected with, if you were to come back to me 6 months down the line, I will remember you and I will likely help you again. So that whole quick, hey, ma'am, check out my resume. Even if I do help you this time, I'm not going to be so encouraged to help you the next time because, to be quite honest with you, there are that's going off on another tangent. I'm going to leave that on. That's another thing for another day. I'll just leave that alone because sometimes I'm just passionate and I say what's on my mind, and is I think that for the most part, I just I'm gonna keep it there. To
Hey,
be
this
fair.
is but this is what this show is, though. It's about truth
Mm-hmm.
and empowering people and amplifying others' voices. Um, so thank you for
Yeah.
that. Don't hey, lay it out if you want to lay it out. That's how we do it around here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
before we go, what is your advice for those people on how, because you have mentioned earlier about defining your why.
Mm-hmm.
How do people gain that type of clarification? Particularly, if you sit down and someone says, "Hey, define your why," but you say, "Well, okay, I like knitting."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I like going to the ballet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like
Mm-hmm.
helping the homeless. But that's we're human beings. We're multifaceted. Dynamic. There's a lot of stuff we sort of we like or have passions for, but may not be what we can actually make money off of.
Right.
So how do people take all of that and find that clarification in terms of what they should be putting their energy in?
Well, it's one of those things that it doesn't happen overnight. But what I will say though is you have to be hungrily curious. You can't just keep yourself stuck in your thoughts. You have to keep going. So confidence, so clarity comes with action. And so as you're continuing to put yourself out there and try different things and really act on what your gut is telling you, you'll find that, man, I really thought that that's something that I really wanted to do, but I don't want to do that at all. And you may fall into something else and it may give you another sense of clarity. So just high level, trusting the process and not getting to that point where, I don't have a why, so I'm just going to stay stuck where I'm at. Then, you miss the opportunity of reaching that level of potential because here I am saying that if I would not have kept going, then I would have never really come to this point of clarity, when I know what I want to do. So, again, trusting the process, being very curious, and really knowing that clarity comes with action. And you can't be, sometimes you're going to have to just put aside just reading books, and really get out there and do some practical application. Start talking to some people. Start, really trying out some of these things that you think you want to do and see if it's something that you really want to do instead of just leaving it as an idea for years. So that's what my feedback would be.
Awesome. Awesome. It'd be great to have you back on the show to talk about entrepreneurship.
Yep.
Because that's one of the things I keep bringing up. I'm part of a Voxer group called Teacherpreneur Chat, where all of us are in there talking about our entrepreneurial dreams and things that we're doing. A lot of we're consulting. I get my consulting on.
Nice. I love talking about entrepreneurship. So
I hear you. I get paid. I get paid to write articles because I don't do that for free.
Okay.
Not anymore.
I heard that.
But like I told people, like as you mentioned earlier about connections and relationships, if I have that relationship with someone and they say, "Hey, Will, can you write this blog post for me?" Hey, when do you need it? But when you are a company and you reach out to me, you better have a check in the other hand, because you're talking about my time, my intellectual capital. That's a whole different story than having a relationship with an individual.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just let me know when you can, and we can.
Just send me some dates, and I'll let you know.
Awesome. I had a great time.
Me too. Thanks so much for having me, and I'm sure we'll connect on LinkedIn still, and I know we'll kind of get together again. So
awesome. So thank you again, Lakrisha, for being a guest on the show.
You're welcome.
Excellent. Now, people, you know how I do this around here. This is going up on LinkedIn. This is going to be on YouTube. Please subscribe to my channel. It's going to be on SoundCloud, iTunes. Leave a review, and it's going up on Twitter. That's my favorite site. But I'm loving that LinkedIn though. Love it.
I need to get it together with Twitter. I really do. I just haven't. I'm one of those people, like, I got to feel like I've learned it before, like, I got to learn it. So I don't want to, but then again, I got to follow my own advice. Clarity comes with action. So I'll try that out.
Yeah, well, I know it. I mean, I wrote a dissertation on it. So that's
hook a sister up. Help a sister out.
That's my joint. The one thing I love about Twitter is once you form these relationships with people, things may move to a Voxer or it may go to Hangouts, and then when you meet these people at conferences, and there's several major ed conferences that we normally see each other at throughout the year, it's kind of like I've known you all my life, even though this may be the first time I've seen you offline. Right. Just feels like, hey, I know you.
Right.
So it's cool. And then from there, I've started to make these relationships with people that have turned into financial opportunities because they know what I can do. And so when they hear stuff, then they start coming to me, hey, Will, hey, this is going down. Or I've been recommended. So I've had people contact me saying, hey, so-and-so was recommended you to do this. Are you game? So that's been a win-win for me. So that's one of the things I love about it.
All right.
Excellent.
Well, we're gonna have to get some training going on that for me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So people, as always, invest in you, EDU. Peace.